What's up, my Central Units? It's Central Man here, so back again with another classic WWE pay-per-view review. So, this past week marks a 30th anniversary of a show I'm going to talk about right now. That is WWF this Tuesday in Texas, 1991, at the Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio, Texas, on the 3rd of December 1991. The attendance for the show was 8,000. This show received about 140,000 pay-per-view buys. That's a 1.0 buy rate. I look up the show's buy rate on WrestleTalk TV. Yeah, 140,000 pay-per-view buys. This show is the lowest buy rate pay-per-view for the World Wrestling Federation in 1991. Yeah, 140,000 pay-per-view buys. I thought they got the same buy rate as ECW's December to December 2006. And that show received about 90 to 95,000 pay-per-view buys, because that show was shit. This show is also shit. A couple weeks ago, I reviewed Survivor Series 1991, because that show was kind of memorable for the main event. Hulk Hogan versus The Undertaker for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. I'm guessing it was the first singles match in Survivor Series history. This show, this Tuesday in Texas, took place 1 week after Survivor Series 91. Survivor Series 91 took place on a Wednesday. This show took place on a Tuesday. You can tell it has its December to December presence, because ECW's December to December took place 1 week after Survivor Series of 06. Yeah, they spend a lot of money on pay-per-views. They spend about, in our currency, you probably spend about 20 to 30 quid on one pay-per-view, and then you have to spend another 20 to 30 quid on another pay-per-view. Like in America, you spend about 30 to 40 bucks on one pay-per-view, then you have to do it again, 1 week later to buy another pay-per-view. Jesus Christ, man. So, anyways, this was WWF/WWE's first Tuesday theme pay-per-view. And this was the one and only This Tuesday in Texas show they ever done. The next time they do it like a Tuesday theme pay-per-view will be in 2004 in the Ruthless Aggression era. Yeah, the first Taboo Tuesday show in 2004. I cover Taboo Tuesday 2004 last year on the channel. Go and check it out. That show I'm talking about, Taboo Tuesday, was a bit better than this show I'm going to talk about right now, Tuesday in Texas. This is a secondary pay-per-view. I'm guessing this is an alternative to the big four pay-per-views. Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. It's testing the waters. I'm guessing they're trying to expand their pay-per-view schedules. Yeah, this show received negative, lukewarming results and reviews, and they did it again 2 years later. Introduced King of the Ring 93, and it was a success, and they made King of the Ring as a annual pay-per-view, the Big Five pay-per-view. I'm glad they never did another Tuesday in Texas. They might bring it back as a special event on the WWE Network on Peacock in America, but that's another story for another time. Anyway, so the commentators for the show are Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. I think it's one of their final pay-per-views, not but one of their last pay-per-views to call, because Gorilla Monsoon stepped away from the commentary booth. I think he got replaced by Vince McMahon and Jim Ross. He became a authority figure for the World Wrestling Federation. And Bobby the Brain Heenan ended up leaving the company to go to WCW. That'll be in late 93, early 94. The old school wrestling fans really like Gorilla Monsoon and the Brain, Bobby the Brain Heenan as the commentary duo. Other the younger wrestling fans like JR and the King. I like JR and the King. But I think really good chemistry for Gorilla and the Brain. Very underrated commentary duo. It's way better than the commentary team. Not in AEW. AEW's commentary team is fine. JR, Shivani and Excalibur. I'm talking about in WWE. You know, you fucking, with Michael Cole and Baron Sexton. Yeah, Tom Phillips also left the company, but I like Pat McAfee. You know, but it's a breath of fresh air. But you know, it's just like a bit. You know, listen, the commentators from in the WWF/WWE in previous decades, whether it's the 2000s, the 90s compared to right now, it's night and day. Anyway, so yeah, it's basically rematches from Survivor Series '91. We got matches on the Dark Show. Let's talk about the Dark Show matches before we get to the main show matches. So some of these Dark Show matches, I guess it's like tape for a main event, Saturday Night Main Event or Wrestling Challenge or Superstars. Like some of these matches should be on the main show. You had Legion of Doom did double duty on the dark on the dark match. They did two dark matches. The Legion of Doom they basically defended the World Wrestling Federation tag team titles twice against the Rockers and the Natural Disasters. If I put one of them in the main show, it has to be Legion of Doom versus the Rockers. And sadly, the Rockers' final time they teaming up until 2005. That was during Shawn Michaels' feud with Vince McMahon. And then Marty Jannetty, basically joined Vince McMahon's Kiss My Ass Club. And also Ric Flair versus Roddy Piper, because they were feuding at the time. This was Ric Flair. You kind of like back and back. You kind of have a double feud. He was feuding with Hulk Hogan, doing the whole real world champion storyline, and also feuding with Roddy Piper. Why it's on the main show beats me. Anyway, so the rest of the dark matches on the show. Ron and Don Harris, not the Beverly Brothers, was it Southern Justice they're called? Yeah, the Harris brothers defeated Brian Costello and Brian Donahue. Sir Charles, the future Godfather, defeated Dale Wolf. Chris Walker defeated Brian Lee. Brian Lee ended up becoming the fake Undertaker in 1994, facing the Undertaker at SummerSlam 94. And Chains, part of DOA, the Disciple of Apocalypse, and he also had gigs in TNA in the early years of TNA in 2002 and 2003. The Nasty Boys defeated the Bushwhackers. Greg the Hammer Valentine defeated the Brooklyn Brawler. And like I said earlier, the Legion of Doom did double duty, defend the tag team titles twice against the Rockers and the Natural Disasters. And Ric Flair defeated Roddy Piper, and that's it. So anyway, the first match to kick off the main show, we got, basically kick off the show, we got Bret Hart defending the Intercontinental Championship against Skinner. Skinner went up I thought he was the third Doink, but he was kind of like the fake Doink, when during Matt Bourne's run as the first Doink in 1993. 1993 was basically a breakout year for Bret Hart. He was as a tag team wrestler over the years with Jim the Anvil Neidhart. I think he broke away from the tag team. They were disbanded, the Hart Foundation. They reunited again in '97 as a faction. Another story, another time. He pursued a career as a single star. He went on to win the 1991 King of the Ring tournament, and he defeated Mr. Perfect for the IC title at SummerSlam that summer. I think that the Perfect Hart match was one of the best SummerSlam matches of all time. I never heard about it, but I never seen it, but I heard about it. People say it's one of the top 10 best SummerSlam matches of all time. Best SummerSlam match, best Bret Hart match at SummerSlam. That and Brace Bulldog. Anyway, so he he's basically held the belt since the summer and taken on Skinner. So some of these matches, there is no build. The only build to this has to be, Randy Savage versus Snake Roberts, Bulldog versus Warlord. Sorry, I'll get to that match later on. and the main event, Hulk Hogan versus Undertaker versus Hulk Hogan for the WWF Championship. I say Warlord, I'm confusing with Wardlow, MGF's bodyguard in AEW. It's the Warlord. I'm trying to say, those are the matches we build. Some of these matches will basically add to the last minute. So anyway, the match between Bret Hart and Skinner, it was an okay match. Nothing special. I found it was a bit boring. I get it. It was the times at the time. It was a bit more of a technical. Bret Hart is the technical style wrestler. Kind of carried Skinner to an okay match. Bret locked in the sharpshooter onto Skinner for the win to retain the IC title. I think that was the last time that Bret successfully defended the Intercontinental Championship, because the early parts of 1992, he ended up dropping the IC title to Roddy Piper, and that was Piper's one and only singles title for in the World Wrestling Federation. And then he won the title back from Piper at WrestleMania 8, and then drop it back again to British Bulldog. One of the best, I think it's one of the best matches of SummerSlam in history. The Bulldog and Bret match at SummerSlam 92, one of the best SummerSlam matches of all time. And then he went on to become the world champion the following year in 1992. I think it was first of 5 world titles for Bret, in his first run in the World Wrestling Federation. So yeah, it was an okay match. I'll get to my final thoughts in the end. So the next match, we got Randy Savage versus Jake the Snake Roberts. So, Randy Savage retired after losing the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 7. Him and Elizabeth, reunited. Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth reunited. They did they got married at SummerSlam 91. In the summer. I think it was in August or July. It's likely August. SummerSlam always an August show. And it was in kayfabe because they've been married for 7 years. Undertaker and Jake the Snake Roberts. Basically, Jake Roberts kind of crashed the wedding ceremony, because at the time Warrior was feuding with Roberts was feuding with Jake the Snake Roberts. Because Roberts was feuding with the Ultimate Warrior. You got the Snake bitting the Ultimate Warrior. I think it was kind of in a mini feud between Jake the Snake and the Undertaker. I'm talking about the Ultimate Warrior. Then all of a sudden, Warrior left the company. He came back at WrestleMania 8. Another story, another time. Yeah. Then the gate crashed the wedding, and then I think it was on an episode of Superstars. You had basically Jake the Snake attack the Macho Man, and his snake bit the Macho Man, and then you got kayfabe President Jack Tunney reinstated Macho Man Randy Savage as an active wrestler, and his snakes are banned from ringside. So it's basically a personal rivalry between Macho Man Randy Savage and Jake the Snake Roberts. So because over the snake. Anyway, this match sucked. Disappointed. I think it was a disappointing match. For one, it's 6 minutes. 6 minutes long. And also, they never got out of the first gear. I feel like it never got better. The bulk of the match, you basically had Roberts working on the arm of Macho Man. Macho Man got the victory, hit the diving elbow off the top rope for the win. The post-match beatdown is way better. I think he hit him again after the match, and then Jake Snake Roberts hit not one, not two, I'm guessing 3 DDTs onto the Macho Man. And then I think he was trying to get the snake, and then he got Miss Elizabeth came to the rescue, played into not to leave him alone. And Jake the Snake Roberts smacked Miss Elizabeth. I thought it'd be better if they hit Miss Elizabeth with the DDT, add more sorts of injury. The post-match interview is a bit better. He said Jake the Snake Roberts, Mean Gene kind of confronts him. You're sicko. How you did it to the woman. He said almost did it. I could do it again. I'm guessing he wants to hurt Elizabeth. And Macho Man's post-match interview was a bit. He was going after Sean Mooney, getting in his face. I think they were planning to do a match. I think they were trying to do a blow-off at WrestleMania in 1992, the following year, WrestleMania 8. Unfortunately, I don't know what the true reasons why. It has to do with Jake Snake's personal problems. Jake Roberts is drug and alcohol problems, or maybe it has to do the I think the original match was supposed to be Hogan Flair, for the world title, and Roberts versus Macho Man Randy Savage. Unfortunately, the plans changed, and they never fought ever again. They might fight once or twice on main event or superstars, but never fought once, and they never fought ever again on a pay-per-view. That was a missed opportunity, man. If they did the second match, I think the Root should have. If I was booking this, I'd rather have Jake Roberts win the first match and then did the second match of WrestleMania 8. Savage gets win back. Unfortunately, yeah, I'm guessing they'll change plans. I don't know, but yeah, it could be I wish they had more time, or maybe they just don't have any chemistry. They're both good workers. Don't get me wrong, Randy Savage and Jake Roberts, but yeah, that's not their best match in their careers. So. So the next match, we got the Warlord with Harvey Whipperman in his corner, taking on the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith, and this match was shit. It was boring, and it lasted about 12 minutes. The previous match on the show, Randy Savage versus Jake Roberts, lasted about 6 minutes. I wish they changed the minutes around, give Randy Savage and Jake Roberts 12 minutes, and this match 6 minutes. Like I said, it was boring, it was a chore to watch. I was completely tuned out, man. The British Bulldog is a good worker. The Warlord is not. He was not a good worker. He is only there for his size. He looks like a bodybuilder. Shocking to me, he's still alive to this day. I thought he died. No, I think he's right now 59. He's nearly 60 years old. Because pro wrestlers, die, the age rate for pro wrestlers dies between 30 to 40 years old, sometimes 50, and a little bit 60 years old, but mostly in that 30, really 20 to 40 years old, Jesus Christ, that's the high rate of deaths in professional wrestling, yeah, it's the same death rate as pro bodybuilders, anyway. Yeah, it was boring. I'm gonna get back to the match. It was a boring match to watch. I think one more of the match, the Warlord locked in the full Nelson lock onto the Bulldog. He managed to escape. He held in that hold that long. Yeah, I was completely tuned out. I think some more of the match, he trying to Bulldog hit the Warlord with the running power slam. I'm guessing he stopped because due to their height. Bulldog's height is nearly he's 5'11", very close to 6 feet tall. The Warlord is 6 feet 5. Anyway, in the end, the Bulldog rolled up the Warlord with the crucifix pin for the win. The Warlord's note of fame is basically, he's had the shortest elimination in the Royal Rumble match. That was in 1989. That's later on broke by Santino Marella 20 years later. And he's part of a tag team known as the Powers of Pain with the Barbarian. I don't think he won the tag team titles in the World Wrestling Federation. They won the tag team titles in the AWA. So it's just what it is. But yeah, I don't know I don't know if the Warlord and the Barbarian won the tag team titles in the Federation. I don't know. I hope not, because they are fucking shit. Shit tag team. As for the Bulldog, by the way, they fought previously at WrestleMania 7 early that year in March. And yeah, I'm glad they had no chemistry. And as for the Bulldog, he went on to win his first singles championship in the Federation in his first run in the company against Bret Hart in Wembley in the following year in 1992. One of the best SummerSlam matches of all time. He done better, the Bulldog. As for the Warlord, not so much. Anyway, so the next match, we got the only tag team match on the show. We got Virgil and El Matador. El Matador is fully known as Tito Santana, taking on the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase Sr. with Sensational Sherry in the $1 Million Man's corner. And he's teaming up with the Repo Man. The Repo Man is formerly known as Demolition Smash. I think he's timed with Ed Leslie with most gimmicks, because Ed Leslie has some crappy gimmicks mostly in WCW, but he was formerly known as, in the WWE, was known as Brutus the Barber Beefcake. As for, with Barry Dawson, he was Demolition Smash, teaming up with one of the best tag teams in professional wrestling history, Demolition with Axe, that's Bill Eadie. He was Crusher Kishtev. He was Blacktop Bully, because King of the Road, the King of the Road match on Sense in '95. I covered that pay-per-view last year on this channel. Go and check it out. Wow, plenty of gimmicks. I think that and Ed Leslie, and also Dustin Rhodes. With Goldust, Black Rain, Seven. That's another story for another time. Anyway, the tag team match between Repo Man, DiBiase, Al Matador, and Virgil. It was a standard tag team match, nothing special. Yeah, I'm guessing this is like no build to this. This was added to the last match. I wish they scrapped this match or like swap it, like put this match in the dark match and put the tag team title match on the main show. That's just me. It was an okay match because Virgil and DiBiase were feuding in 1991, the whole block in 1991 when Virgil turned on his master Ted DiBiase Sr. They trade back and forth for the $1 Million Championship. You're trying to give Virgil some push. He end up leaving the company. He end up reunited years later in WCW, part of the NWO. In the end, Repo Man and DiBiase pick up the win against Al Matador and Virgil. I think it's the blow off to the feud. So we're moving on to the main event. The main event, we got The Undertaker in his first title defense as the World Wrestling Federation champion, putting the belt on the line against Hulk Hogan, with Paul Bearer in The Undertaker's corner. This is the rematch from Survivor Series 91, the previous week. This match is a bit better than the previous match at Survivor Series 91. Unfortunately, that's not saying too much. Undertaker and Hulk Hogan had no chemistry. Undertaker in the early years of the Undertaker, I think between 90 to probably 93, 94, his wrestling, he's booked like this slow-paced horror monster. We never got to see the athletic side of the Undertaker. Probably later on in the 90s, and when he does the old school and the suicide dive. He'll do that until he retired in 2020 of last year. I never believe Hogan's bullshit because he said in his book that he hurt his neck. He basically knocked himself out when Undertaker hit the Tombstone Piledriver on the chair in his match against the Undertaker at Survivor Series the previous week. And basically, Hogan was playing politics. He doesn't really want to put over the Undertaker. He has to. Why? I don't get it, man. I don't want to get into it, man. So, anyway, it was a bit overbooked with Jack Tunney at ringside. Ric Flair came around, hit Hogan in the back with the chair. Hogan fought onto the kayfabe president of the World Wrestling Federation, Jack Tunney. He's trying to help the Undertaker win against Hogan. Flair was holding the chair. He's trying to basically Taker trying to Irish whip Hogan, but Hogan countered it. And then I think Bearer trying to hit Hogan with the urn, but instead he accidentally hit the Undertaker with the urn. The next thing he did that was against Mankind 5 years later. In the end, I think Hogan he kind of poured out the ashes off the urn. I think thrown ash in the face of the Undertaker. And I think he hit him with it was the big boot. I think it was the big boot and the win. I think it was it might be a roll. I can't remember. It was an okay match. It was still a shit match, but it was a bit memorable for this. It's basically I think he throw the urn in the face of the Undertaker. Flair began to revive Tunney enough to see, trying to overturn the rule. Hogan pins Undertaker to regain the WWF Championship. And that was it. So that was a pointless title reign for the Undertaker. He barely defended the title. what was it, 6 days? 6 days! Jesus Christ. A week! What's the point? I understand Hogan playing politics. John Cena, blush. You know, this Son of Cena will blush for that because the three guys I know play politics in pro wrestling. Kevin Nash, I don't know, maybe, but the top three for me has to be, you know, Hulk Hogan, Triple H, John Cena. That's it. And by the way, Tony ended up really stripped Hogan off the title, and then the championship was held up. You know, the following month at the Royal Rumble, the Royal Rumble match of the following year, 1992, was for the championship. Flair went on to win the title, and did the whole tear in my eye promo, and the plan to do Flair versus Hogan at WrestleMania 8 the following year, 92. Hogan once again playing politics. That's another story for another time. Next time Undertaker would win another world title will be at WrestleMania 13 in 1997. You know, the second reign is better than the first reign. And by the way, back into the Randy Savage, Jake the Snake Roberts feud. By the way, I got it wrong. They end up having another match to be at Saturday Night Main Event. That was basically the blow off of the feud, and then they went away their separate ways. Because Jake the Snake Roberts went on to feud The Undertaker at WrestleMania 8. Savage ended up facing Flair for the title, win his second and last title in the World Wrestling Federation. In my opinion, I wish they saved this match at WrestleMania 8. You know, I don't know what the true reason why they changed the matches around. I might review WrestleMania 8 in the future, but that's another story for another time. So anyway, some final rating for the one and only WWF This Tuesday Night in Texas 91. 3.5 out of 10. You can tell this show, I was almost planning to give it a 1 or a 0, but maybe it's not that bad, but it's still shit. You can tell this show has this December to December presence. You know, it took place 1 week after Survivor Series, but no good matches on the show. Some of these matches were okay. It's a skippable show, like the opener. You know, if they put Piper versus Flair and LOD versus the Rockers for the tag team titles, is it enough to save the show? Maybe, or maybe not. It's a non-notable situation. Maybe not. You know, we're not gonna get that truth. But yeah, some of the matches were okay. Like the opener, Bret Hart versus Skinner for the IC title. And basically the tag team title match, not tag team title match, the normal tag team match, you know, Virgil Al Matador versus $1 Million Man and Repo Man. And some of these matches, and in the bad, were shit, like, Macho Man versus Jake the Snake Roberts, that was shit, didn't have enough time, never got out the first gate. And Bulldog versus Warlord, that was shit as well. And yeah, the main event itself, it was a bit better than their match of Survivor Series. And by the way, they ended up fighting one more time in 2002, 9 years later at Judgment Day. And Undertaker won the title from Hogan in the strap match. So bit of a side note, but on second thought, let's give it 2 out of 10. You know, I changed this reign. WWF This Tuesday Night in Texas, yeah, 2 out of 10. Still a shit show. So yeah, if you got this on the network, avoid to watch WWF This Tuesday Night in Texas. So anyway, so I hope you enjoyed my review of WWF This Tuesday Night in Texas 91. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Smash that like button, click the bell, subscribe to the channel, be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. Next time in the classic WWE pay-per-view review segments. So, TLC is officially no more in our current timeline in today's WWE. The last TLC show was last year in 2020. Don't worry, in the world of the Central Unit, this is Central Man Network, not WWE. Let's review a classic TLC show. So, let's review the first TLC show. Yeah, I reviewed the last one last year on the channel, TLC 2020. Yeah, let's review the very first one, TLC 2009. That was for, DX versus Jericho in the TLC match. That was DX winning their first and only tag team championships. That crappy chairs match between Undertaker Batista and Sheamus versus John Cena the tables match for the WWE Championship. That was Sheamus winning his one of 3 WWE Championship in his career of Sheamus. So there, TLC 2009, that's the next pay-per-view to review on this channel. This is Essential Man officially signing out. Check you later. And that's my review of this Tuesday Night Texas 1991. This was not a good show. Skip the show of all time. Of all costs.